Hari Om. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Friends, on behalf of Param Vedanta, I warmly welcome each one of you to the 14th session of the Mananam Series. Today's theme is continuing the second series of Mantras of Resonance. Those sacred mantras that carry not only profound meaning, but also a unique vibrational power. Their sound, rhythm, and truth uplift the seeker, transforming one from within. These mantras are not meant to be merely studied. They are they are to be chanted, meditated upon, and absorbed deeply, aligning us with Brahman. Resonance in this sense is about tuning ourselves to that perfect inner frequency where life flows effortlessly in harmony with the divine. In our previous session, Dr. Timappa Hegdesa enlightened us on the mantras of resonance in the first and second valli of the first chapter of Kathopanishad. Today, we continue this journey through a dialogue between Dr. Timappa Hegdesa and Dr. Anupama, a conversation that promises to illumine this most vital subject for our spiritual evolution. Let us listen with full attention as they unfold the depth of these mantras and guide us inward on this sacred path. Dr. Timappa Hegdesa.
Thank you very much, Shiv, for a nice introduction. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Pariyantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaivasvataya Mrityave Brahma Vidyacharyaya Nachiketa Secha. As introduced by Shiv, we will continue our study of the revision class of Kathopanishad, mainly from mantra 14 onwards of the second valli till the end of the third valli. I will request Dr. Anupama to chant this mantra for us.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Anyatra dharma, anyatra adharmat, anyatra asmat, kruta akrutat, anyatra bhutascha bhavyascha, yattat paschati tad vadaha.
In every Upanishad, the question that the student asks is very important because based on that question, the entire Upanishad is an answer to that question. And this is a very important question. And among all the questions in all the Upanishads, this mantra is very important because although it is a question, although it is coming from the student, there is so much of a definition of Atma in this question itself. Dr. Anupama, can you elaborate on this?
Yes, sir. How does this question describe the Atma. Technically, this is an Atma Lakshana Shloka. Next slide, please. Yes. So, Anyatra Dharma, Anyatra Adharmat. Next slide. Dharma here means Punya Karma Phalam and Adharma means Papa Karma Phalam. So, Atma is beyond Dharma and Adharma. This means it is not a Karma Phalam at all. Next slide, please. Anyatra asmat krita akritat. So what is kritam? Kritam means an effect. And what is akritam? Akritam means cause. So Atma is krita akritat. That means it is beyond cause and effect. Therefore again, it is not a karma phalam. And also, this mantra also describes Atma as Kala Atita. He says, Anyatra Bhutascha Bhavyascha, beyond, present, past, and future. And such an Atma which you see, Aparokshataya. Nachiketas is telling Yama Dharmaraja, just explain it to me in the same manner as which you have understood it. Tat Vada, may you please reveal it to me.
Thank you. Anyatra Dharma. See, Nachiketa is asking Yamadharmaraja. Nachiketa means all of us. All of us who have or had an opportunity to meet that great Devata. And you have this curiosity, really what happens once a person dies. So I want that knowledge which is not available through my mind and sense organs. Through any amount of scientific tools, nobody will know what happens after death. We know, or we really do not know, whether we are going to perish or something is going to survive. So he's saying everything that we see in the world around is part of dharma or adharma. This whole world is a product of our punya and papa and the collective punya or papa. So this question he's asking is, my Lord, from your experience, can you tell me something beyond dharma, dharma? Something beyond cause and effect. What do you mean by cause and effect? Because of my past karma, which is the cause, I have the present effect. So nothing to do with punya or papa, nothing to do, and something other than time. So that is why we are now entering into the domain of the paramarthika, something of the beyond. And that is what we all want to know. And that is what the whole Upanishad is giving as an answer. Now, if we have that Shraddha, that what Yamadharmaraja is saying is gospel truth, then the way we will look into all these mantras is going to be significantly different. Now, this mantra, Na Jayate Mriyate Va, which is so important, is a direct answer to Nachiketa's question. So I would like Dr. Anupama to chant this mantra and tell us how this mantra is going to answer those questions. That, something beyond, it may not answer all that, beyond dharma, beyond cause and effect, and so on. Please tell us. Muted, please.
Dharmaraja now knows that Nachiketa is a Uttama Adhikari. So he is defining Atma in this most beautiful verse, which says, Na jayate mriyate va vipaschit nayam kutaha kaschin na babhuva kaschit ajo nityaha shashvato ayam purana na hanyate hanyamane sharire. So, next slide, please. In this verse, he describes Atma as Vipaschit. Vipaschit means the all-illuminating consciousness. And what is this all-illuminating consciousness? He says it is Shad Vikara. We know the Shad Vikaras, Asti, the potential existence in the womb, Jayati, Vardate, Viparimate means metamorphosis, Apakshiyate, declination, and Vinashyate is ultimately perishes. Next slide, please. So, Atma here, he says, is beyond Kala Tattvam, beyond time, Karya, Karana, Vilakshana, Ajati Vada. Na Jayate Mriyate, there is no birth, no death. Ayam na kutaschit. Consciousness does not emerge from anything, meaning it is not a karyam, it's not a product or an effect of anything. Na bhabhuva kaschit. It does not become anything, means not karyam or cause of anything either. Like milk is the cause of curd. So Atma is not the cause of anything also. This is the answer to Nachiketas' question, Anyatra dharma, anyatra adharma. Next slide, please. Yeah, finished.
That's it. No? So I'll just go back to the mantra. Na jayate mriyate va. With slight modification, Lord Krishna brings it right in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita when Arjuna needs certain answers. This is the mantra that is given. So whenever a person is going to die, especially when the Indian political prisoners were being sent to the gallows, one of the mantras they would chant with a lot of zeal was Na jayate mriyate va. That means, the real me. The word here is vipaschita. Vipaschita means consciousness. Right now, you're listening to me. You're listening to me not because of your brain, but because of consciousness, which helps your brain to function. That is why we say consciousness is not part of the body. It's not a product of the body. Because if you see, body is made up of its biochemistry. It is chemicals. What is that which makes it alive? That is consciousness. This consciousness is not part of the body. So really, when you are asking for anyatra dharma, anyatra adharma, you are asking about this consciousness. And Yamadharmaraja is trying to say, in answer to Nachiketa's question, it is consciousness. What is there, which is there from the very beginning, what will always be there, it is consciousness. Let us go to the next mantra. Dr. Anupama, if you can chant mantra 20.
Anor aniyan mahato mahiyan atmasya janto nihito guhayam tam akratuh pashyati vita shokah dhatu prasadat mahimanam atmanah.
All right. I will ask you to explain this mantra. And specifically, I'm going to ask you few things. Now, for example, whenever a mantra presents certain paradoxes, anor aniyan. So we are talking about that consciousness, na jayate mriyate va vipaschit. He is elaborating on vipaschit. That consciousness is anoran, aniyan. It is smaller than the atom. Can you imagine? It is subatomic. And mahato mahiyan. Now, immediately you come to that one thing which is smaller than the smallest, bigger than the biggest. That means straight away it is something that the mind cannot understand. Then he tells us that consciousness, atmasya jantur nihito guhayam. Just like electricity is everywhere, but if you want to use a tester to find out, you check in the plug point. Now, where do I find Atma? In my mind. Here, the guha means my mind. So that vipaschita, that consciousness is there within all of us in my mind. I want you to, Anupama, tell us what is the meaning of akratuhu. Who is that akratuhu who's able to pashyati vita shokaha? I mean, beyond sorrow and all that. And what is the meaning of dhatu prasadat mahiman atmanaha? Dr. Anupama, please.
Basically, Nick, can you show me the slides, please? The next slide is one. Yeah, the next one. Yes. We know that this mantra is resonating with what we have heard in Bhagavad Gita as Sutra Manigana Eva. Atma is immanent, extremely close to us, and transcendental. Why transcendental? Because it belongs to a different dimension. It is Paramarthika. It pervades everything. It is the adhishtanam of everything. Sarva anusyutam. It's in and through, and sarva anugatam. So, although we see the string is not seen in this bouquet of flowers, when the flowers wither, the string remains. That is what Atma is. Next slide, please. So, When Jivatma searches for Atma, it is as ridiculous as a wave searching for the water content in it, or cloth searching for thread in it. Similarly, Jivatma is totally deluded when he starts searching for Paramatma. Next, please.
Yeah, that is the amount of slides we have. You can tell us whatever you wish to say about tam akratuhu.
Tam akratuhu pashyati vita. Akratuhu is a person who does karma without any motive. A person who does his job as an akarta sees this Atma and therefore his Vita Shoka, he is beyond sorrow. Dhatu Prasadat. Dhatu means the sense organs, mind, intellect. When this sense organs, mind, and intellect are in extreme peace and harmony, then only then we can see the Mahimanam Atmanaha. That means without tranquility of the mind, without being a sadhana chatushtaya sampanna, we cannot perceive of this Atma.
Thank you. Very loaded mantra. So for the first two lines says anoran aniyan. Anoran aniyan. Something smaller than the atom, bigger than the biggest. That thing is located in all of us, but we are not able to detect it. Why? But who can detect it? Akrituhu. Kritaha, as you said, is those who do various form of rituals. Who does rituals? A person who does various karmas or who wants some punya. Now, a person who's not seeking for punya, that means who wants nothing in this world, such a person has got a quiet mind. That is what is called dhatu prasadat. Dhatu prasadat means when the sense organs are very quiet. We will learn a little later what is this Samanya Jnanam and Vishesha Jnanam. When a person comes into what is called Samanya Jnanam, the person is able to attain to that Atma, which is beyond all and which helps us to go beyond sorrow. Why is that Dhatu Prasadat so important? Shri Krishna gives this mantra in the 15th chapter. Yatanto yoginaschainam pashyanti atmanam avastitah. There are some people who make some efforts and they are able to see the Atma situated within all of them. But there are certain other people who also make efforts. But then, because their mind is not so refined, are not able to see the Atma. So this Atma Tattva is able to detect only if your mind is very refined and of course with the help of Guru and Shastra. Just like the Guru will tell you where to test it, where to look for Atma with the tester, then you are able to detect it. Now, Dr. Anupama spoke about that chapter 7, 7th mantra. Mai sarvam idam protam sutre manigana eva. This Atma not only is in the form of consciousness because of which you are able to listen, it is also in the form of existence. If you look around your room, you will see so many things are there. They are all existent. I am existence. So this Atma is in the form of both consciousness and existence, and that which lends existence to everything. There is a nice poem which Swamiji had said somewhere, which I'm not able to find. Maybe it will come here. Yeah. Lehere doonde lehere ko, kapada doonde sooth, Jiva doonde Brahma ko, Tino ut ke ut. Now, this is also explained already, but I will say this. Maybe a Kabir Doha. Lehere doonde lehere ko. It is like the wave searching for the water. Kapada doonde sooth. The cloth is searching for the fabric. Jiva dunde Brahma ko. That means if you are searching for the Lord, it means you are blind. It means you have no sensitivity. That Dhatu Prasadad is lacking. Immediately after the first chapter, when we go into the second chapter, we will study one most wonderful mantra which talks about Paranchikani Vyatharnat Swayambhuhu. That means all our sense organs are focused outside, and therefore they are not able to see the Atma within. The Atma is not only within, the Atma is without also. That is why we need to have that Divya Chakshu to be able to see the Atma outside. Leher Dunde, Leher Ko, Kapada Dunde Sud. And then you're able to discover whatever I see is Atma and Atma alone. Other than Atma, there is nothing else. So this is a wonderful mantra. And what is this mantra? How does it go? Anor Aniyan. Wonderful 20th mantra. Let us go to the next mantra. 21, please chant for us, Dr. Anupam.
Asino dura vrajati, shayano yati sarvataha, kastam madamadam devam, mad anyo jnatum arhati.
Among the mantras of resonance, we are going into higher and higher levels of resonation. Now, the more cryptic the mantra is, the more difficult to understand, the more poetic also. This is one of those really paradoxical mantras which every student of Vedanta has to understand. Not only understand, you should be able to explain it to somebody. And if the way you explain to somebody is an index of how you have understood this Atma Tattva. Dr. Anupama, please explain.
Okay.
Before that, let me challenge you in a few things. Now, I have marked something in red. Mad anya anyo jnatum arhati. Now we are talking about a Brahma Vidya Acharya, none other than Yamadharma Raja, making a statement which looks very egoistic. He says, other than me, who can understand this Atma? Who can understand this Atma, which is both joyful and without joy, and full of paradoxes, which please explain.
Okay, so we should remember the context. Yamadharmaraja is teaching Nachiketas Atma Vidya. So he is now trying to describe the Atma in a very paradoxical way, knowing that Yamadharmaraja is a very Uttama Shishya. He says, I will tell you the Atma has got two aspects. What we know as original consciousness or Samanya Chaitanyam, and the reflected consciousness or Vishesha Chaitanyam. And if you need to know the difference between Samanya Chaitanyam and Vishesha Chaitanyam, other than me, Mad Anya, who else can you learn this from? When he says other than me, we should understand as other than Jnanis like me, qualified people like me. So, what is Samanya Chaitanyam? Next slide, please. Samanya Chaitanyam is the all-pervading, unlocated, original consciousness which we experience in sleep. Yamadharmaraja has described as Shayano Yati, means spreads sarvataha. This we have seen in Dasha Shloki as Shushuptau Nirasthat. What happens to us is in Shushupti Avastha, we become Shunyatmas. What is the meaning of Shunyatma? We have no Deha Abhimana. And also the mind has resolved. When we are without mind and body Abhimana, what remains? Tad ekova shishtaha. That which remains is nothing but the Samanya Chaitanyam, original consciousness, Shivaha. Shivaha Kevalaha. And who is that Shiva? I am that Shiva. So I have to realize I am that Samanya consciousness to which I should be always identified with. Next slide. We also have the reflected consciousness called the Vishesha Chaitanyam. When we wake up, our minds become functional. The original consciousness now gets reflected in this mind and becomes a reflected consciousness. What is the limitation of this reflected consciousness? It is only within the realm of the mind, and it is experienced in Jagrat Avastha. But it is so attractive, so it draws our attention so much that when we are in the domain of this Vishesha Chaitanyam, we tend to forget the Samanya Chaitanyam, although it exists. So, does the Samanya Chaitanyam exist? It surely does. Like we have in this picture, If we have a patch of sun reflected on a polished surface, does it mean that the original sun ceases to exist? No. Similarly, Samanya Chaitanyam is always there, irrespective of the brightness or attractive nature of Vishesha Chaitanyam. Next slide, please. Then explaining the word Devam. What is Devam? Devam means Chaitanya Dvayam, the Samanya and Vishesha Chaitanya. Madha means pleasure, Amadha means no pleasure. Now, how can you describe Devam as with and without pleasure? Two contradictory things. The mind alone experiences pleasure. What is pleasure? It is just a modified thought. But in Shushupti, there is no thought. Therefore, there is no pleasure. Next slide, please. So, the Vishesha Chaitanya or reflected consciousness in the mind is what experiences pleasure. But we know Atma pervades the mind immanently, but being transcendental, it is not an experiencer of any of this pleasure. If we identify with the Vishesha Chaitanya, that means Vishesha Chaitanya Drishtya, think we are modas, means we are enjoying or suffering. But Samanya Chaitanya Drishta, identifying with the Sakshi Chaitanya, we have neither pleasure nor sorrow. So ignorant people think they are Vishesha Chaitanya and experience fluctuations. The Jnani knows he is Samanya Chaitanya, na punya, na papa, but Chidananda Rupa. The message is shift from Vishesha to Sakshi Chaitanya, and this is moksha.
Thank you very much. I'll just go back to that mantra once again. Asino duram vrajati. That means when we are all sitting here, you may be in this class, but your mind can travel anywhere. So whenever we are in Vishesha Chaitanyam, one thought can take you wherever that thought goes. So Asinam Duram. This is the picture of what we call as Vishesha Chaitanyam whenever the mind comes into being. However, when we are fast asleep, when the mind is resolved, what happened? Yati sarvataha. When I'm fast asleep, I have no localization. When I have no localization, when I'm not localized, where am I? I am everywhere. That is why when it is said, when we are fast asleep, we are one with Ishvara. And because of this paradox, when we wake up, we come into Vishesha Chaitanya. That means I'm aware of my thoughts. And with these thoughts, Mada comes and Amada comes, sorrow, happiness, and sorrow. Whereas the real me, can you see the state that you are in deep sleep? You are beyond joy, beyond sorrow, which is a state of ananda, that state of bliss. Mad anyaha, other than me. Other than me means, as explained by Dr. Anupama, people like me. Now, this is something we need to understand all the time. Even though I'm awake, even though I'm listening to a very difficult topic, what is the background? In that background silence, can I experience my Samanya Chaitanya? Which means, however busy our lives are, take a little break in and through every activity of the day to take a conscious pause to experience that background awareness which is in and through every activity. The more we are into Samanya Chaitanyam, the more we are logged on to the higher nature, the more we are closer to moksha. That is why we say Prati Bodha Viditam Matam. In every experiencer, there is the experience and there is the Sakshi, the one who's observing. And if I come to that state, I am in Samanya Chaitanyam. And that is why Lord Yama poses a rhetorical question as a jnani, who other than me can understand this Atma? Adi Shankara says, anybody who can understand like he can understand, which means you need to have that subtle mind. And when you have that subtle mind, We not only experience my word, we experience everything that is happening around, but you also experience the experiencer. Remember this word. See, the seeing, the seer, hearing, the hearer, feeling, the feeler. And when you are feeling the feeler, seeing the seer, hearing the hearer, you are in Samanya Chaitanyam, in and through Vishesha Chaitanya. When we come to mantras of resonance, if I can give stars, if I can give a 5-star rating, the highest rating in the entire Kathopanishad is this mantra for mantras of resonance. And hopefully you will also resonate to see why this mantra is so great. Dr. Anupama, if you can chant this mantra, then I'll ask you some questions.
Okay. Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhyaha. Na medhaya na bahuna shrutena yam eva esha vrunute tena labhyaha tasya esha atma vi vrunute tanum swam.
Please explain and tell us why you would agree with me that this is such a great mantra.
So the important word here is tivra mumukshutvam, an intense desire for self-knowledge. Yam eva esha vrunute. Yamadharmaraja calls this Atma Varanam. Whatever sadhana we practice will fructify only if Atma Varanam or Tivra Mumukshutvam exists. Whether it is Pravachana, that is Shabda Grahana, Medha, memorizing, Shravanam, whatever. But Tivra Mumukshutvam is mandatory. Next slide, please. Yeah. So we may wonder, is it only our effort or do we need Ishvara Anugraha also? The fact is, God's grace is equally available to us, to all of us, all the time. But we have to focus on our effort. The seeker choosing God or Brahman is a Tivra Mumukshu. So it says, there is a saying which says, Vaneva Harmeva, whether it is in the depths of the darkest forest or in the most opulent palace, Samakara Vipato Himakara, the moon shines evenly on every surface. Therefore, God's grace is spread over us evenly. But if we seek God's grace, then we vrunute. It is as if it is exposed. And what is open to us, Swayam, the nature of Atma gets exposed to us.
Thank you very much. Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhya. This is a mantra which tells us how to get this Atma Jnanam. So, Atma Jnana Sadhana. So, few things he says, no. Although we think that these are useful things like pravachana, listening or giving talks, having a wonderful memory. Bahuna Shrutena. I have gone from teacher to teacher. Adi Shankara uses a word kevalena. Only these things by themselves will not do. Then what is the most important requirement? Yame Vesha Vrunute Tena Labhya. What does that mean? Dr. Anupama has highlighted Tivra Mumukshutvam. Now, Swamiji says, if you have 100 desires, and if there is your topmost desires moksha, it is still not a Tivra Mumukshu. A Tivra Mumukshu is one who has only one desire. I want that and nothing else. When you have that kind of desire, so it is the intensity of your desire. The same mantra comes in Upanishad also. And it is said that if you choose, just like Swayamvara, the human mind is so wonderful that whatever you really want, you will be able to get it. And instead of choosing anything anatma with this wonderful human mind, why not choose the atma? There is a Nayamatma Pravachanena Labhya. All right, it is coming once again. Now, there is another twist to this mantra. Now, which says, Yame Vesha Vrunate Te Nalabhya. Now, this has been interpreted. Now, it's whether I I am choosing Atma, or is God choosing me to give Brahma Vidya? Now, which is more true? This mantra can be interpreted with any way. That means you can interpret it as you get Brahma Vidya when you want Atma, or you get Brahma Vidya when he decides to give it to you. Now, we know that the Lord is not biased to anybody. So, normally, as that Anupama gave the example of sunlight, it is available for everybody. Are you open to it? And therefore, we have to make our effort. But now look at this. This is a Herculean effort. This is something extraordinary. And those of us who are in the spiritual path are clearly the chosen ones. Why I give a very high star rating for this mantra is when you go through this mantra, there is a feeling that we are the chosen ones. Really, I have tried in my life to bring Brahma Vidya to so many people. And however much I put my efforts, they would look at me with little sympathy and indifference because they have not been chosen. We are the ones who have been chosen, and to those whom he has chosen, he will reveal himself to you. See, we all think that we are doing some form of propagation of Brahma Vidya, but when the Lord wants to reveal himself, he has his own method to reveal himself to you. Look at the last line. Tasye Tasyesha Atma Vivrunute Tanum Swam. He will reveal himself. Tanu means body. That means he is going to come pratyaksha. Now again, remember, pratyaksha does not mean that there is a God that was going to come in front of you and say, hello, how are you? I'm God. But to understand that word, vipaschit, that constant state of samanya jnanam. Now, if somehow that enters into your mind, that is as powerful or more powerful than Sri Krishna coming and saying, hello to you, I'm there with you, don't worry. That Atma Tattva is the Sri Krishna principle. And that is why the more you resonate with this mantra, in this Upanishad and Mundakopanishad, identical mantras, you will give a 5-star rating to this mantra. Now, please chant this mantra for us, number 24.
Na virato duscharitat, na ashanto, na asamahitah, na ashanta manaso vapi, prajnanena enam na apnuyat.
We recently had a chance to have Swami Chidanandaji, and I told him, I gave him a very clear brief. It should be mantras from the second Valli of Kathopanishad. And he spoke about it as mantras for resonance. And he chose to explain first and the most important of all the mantras. And the mantra he chose was this, Na avirataha duscharitat. Please explain, Dr. Anupama.
Okay. Avirata means dropping off. For a person who has not dropped off his duscharita, bad immoral ways, for a person who is not willing to give up immoral lifestyle, then na ashantaha, a person who has no control over his sense organs, na asamahitaha, a person who does not have a focused mind, which we called vyavasayatmika buddhi. What happened to that slide, please? And then mano nigraha, a person who has no mana shanti. Now, prajnana, even though he may have knowledge, it will only be intellectual knowledge. So it will not cause a transformation in him. This means that unless we are sadhana chatushtaya sampannas, we cannot get Atmajnana. We will not be able to have Shama, Dhamma, focused mind, thought discipline. Next one, please. Let me see the next slide. Yeah, that's done. Yeah, that's all. Finished. Yeah.
I will go back to this word, na avirato. Rati or Ratha means to revel, to partake. To partake in what? Duscharita. Duscharita is something which is not scripturally recommended, or something that is immoral, or something that is wrong. Now, the human mind tends to revel on sometimes on something that is forbidden. That is the meaning of rati. Virati means someone who is able to avoid that. That means a person was into such activity, but now he has stopped going. Na avirata, this is a double negative. So, a person who has not yet given up his reveling in something that is inappropriate, accompanied by na a mind, na shantaha means there is no control on his sense organs, whose mind is not in an even state and his mind is not under control. Prajnanenaiva, even though the person may be a great scholar, may have spiritual wisdom, but apnuyat. That is why teachers give a great importance to this mantra. That is our charitaha, our acharya, the way you run your life, your thoughts. Watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, it becomes your habit. Watch your habits, it becomes your character. So all these are important, that in case that we were involved in anything which is duscharita and we are in a spiritual path, remember this mantra, na avirataha. Only then, prajnanin, all sorts of efforts may be possible, but they will not be able to bear fruit. A very, very strong mantra. With that mantra, we have finished the selected mantras of the Valli number 2. And Valli number 2 is tremendously great. Not that Valli 3 is not great. Valli 3 is also very great. We have two introductory mantras. Can you briefly explain these two mantras, Dr. Anupama?
Yes, sir. Ritam pibantau sukrutasya loke guham pravishtau parame parardhe chaya tapau brahma vido vidanta tanti panchagnayo yecha trinachiketa. So this mantra, oh, it's come to the next one, Yaha Setu Ijananam. Okay. Is very similar to what we have seen in Mundaka, Dva Suparna Sayujasakaya Samanam Vriksham Parishasvajate. So Ritam Pibantau is the same as Pippilam Swadum Atti. That means we have to see in ourselves the Jivatma and Paramatma, and the habitual identification with the Jivatma should no longer be there, and we should start reflecting on or changing our notion and identifying with Atapaha, the Paramatma. Jivatma is here referred to as the shadow, Chaya, and Atapaha, the Paramatma. Now, why is it that we should be Atapaha? If we can remain in lives as akarta abhokta without any motivation and remain as sakshi, then we have got the jnanam that we have always sought. So this is a shift from chaya to atapaha. How do we make the shift? Yamadharmaraja has said, Shake Mahi, you have a choice. He says, Yaha Setu Ijananam, there are two bridges. You can consider there are two bridges to move from Chaya to Atapaha. We can choose the Preya Marga or Shreya Marga. In the Preya Marga, of course, this he has described Ijananam, the people who practice rituals. You could be a ritualistic person in the Preya Marga, acquiring materialistic things like the best upadhi, the best sense objects, and the best loka. Or you can also use the Preya Marga to do upasanas, refine the mind, get to Brahma Loka, Krama Mukti, and come to Brahma Jnanam. Or else we can, as human beings now, select the Shreya Marga. And this Shreya Marga takes us to Aksharam Brahma. Aksharam Brahma means Brahma Jnanam, which he says is Abhaya Titishatam Param, which helps us cross over this ocean of samsara into that shore of Abhayam, the fearlessness or the security of being Brahma, Nitya Shuddha Brahma.
Thank you very much for briefly explaining this Ritam Pibanto and Ya Setur Ijananam. Now, essentially, we are now entering into that most famous Ratha Kalpana example, where your whole life is like a spiritual journey. Your body is a chariot, and there is a driver, and all that. Now, in that journey, there are 2 points. And what are the 2 points? One is the lower me, and the other is the higher me. Although we are going to have the whole experience as a journey, the first 2 mantras are so important to help us, to tell us from where to where. Within all of us, there is what we identify as me, my lower self, my ahankara, the karta, the bhokta, who's always picking up one fruit or the other, enjoying or suffering. Are you in Samanya Jnanam? In that instant, we shift to that golden bird, that higher me, that one who is always in peace and who has nothing to do, who has nowhere to go, which you experience usually in deep sleep, sometimes in moments of fulfillment, which are short lived. But the whole spiritual journey is, how do I bridge from my lower self to my higher self? And that is helped through this Ratha Kalpana example. There are 2 mantras. Okay, please explain this mantra to us. Chant and explain.
Okay, again, what is this Ratha Kalpana? Ratha Kalpana is giving a kind of a chariot analogy. Technically, all the time in our minds, it is shifting from Vishesha to Samanya Chaitanyam, shifting from Jivatma to Paramatma. So, what is the physical distance between Jivatma, Paramatma? There is nothing. It's just a shift in the notion, a notional change that I'm no longer limited, but I am Abhaya. I have reached the shore. I have to reach the shore, the feeling of eternal security. So, in this Ratha Kalpana, he says, Atmanam Rathinam Vidhi. The Jivatma is compared to the traveler in the chariot. Shariram Ratham Evatu. The chariot is compared to our bodies. Buddhim tu Sarathim Vidhi. The intellect is the charioteer. And Manaha Pragraham Evacha. And the mind is compared to the reins. Indriyani Hayan Ahuhu. The sense organs are equivalent to the various horses, Vishayan, Teshu, Gocharan, and the various paths that we take with these horses lead us to the various sense objects that we are interested in. Atmendriya Mano Yuktaha. What we are supposed to do is we have to have control over our body, sense organs, mind, and harness them onto the superior intellect. And it's only then that we can live in symphony with what we are supposed to do.
Thank you. We'll come to it a little more as we go along. Now, remember this chariot example of the whole Bhagavad Gita, and which is so many mantras are spent on trying to give us a spiritual journey. So, in a spiritual journey, what is required is our vehicle should be fit for that journey. My body should be well. My sense organs should be under control. My mind should be controlled. Who is the controller? That is the intellect. And the intellect in this picture is Sri Krishna. In all of us, there is the lower self, there is also the higher self. Who is the higher self? If I can put Sri Krishna on the driver's seat, if Sri Krishna can be my driver's seat, then few things become very clear. In any journey, there is a goal, and the intellect or the driver knows where I have to go. And in our journey, let us be clear that I want Nitya Ananda, that I want to be happy all the time. And to achieve that, I need certain means. and the means is through Guru and Shastra. And where it is not a journey from point A to point B. It is a journey, it is not going, but it is knowing. Knowing what? My higher self and my lower self. And the means is none other than Guru and Shastra. It is through Guru and Shastra that I am able to go. Now, because we have to work on Indriya, on my mind, on my buddhi, and then I have to go, there is a certain amount of gradation. So these two mantras, if Dr. Anupama, if you can chant and tell us why after the Rata Kalpana, we come to an understanding of our own mind, our buddhi, what is this Mahat and that evolution? Please tell us.
Okay, so the concept here is we are moving from gross to subtle. Indriyebhyaha parahi arthaha. So, superior to our sense organs are the sense objects which we have registered in our mind as liked and disliked objects, wanted, unwanted objects. Then, arthebhyaha paraha manaha, and superior to these sense objects or the thoughts, the vrittis in the mind, is the mind itself, which is the dravyam, which is the container of these thoughts. Then manasaha stu para buddhihi, and we know that the intellect has to be superior to the emotional mind because a well-informed intellect can easily be the boss of the emotional mind. And buddhihi atma mahan paraha. Here mahat means hiranya garbha. So superior to the vyashti or the localized intellect in each of us is the samashti, the universal intellect or the cosmic intellect, which is Hiranyagarbha. That is the most subtle intellect we can conceive of.
Let's continue the next one. Mahat Param Avyaktam.
Mahataha Param Avyaktam, then superior to this Hiranyagarbha is Maya, Avyaktam, because Hiranyagarbha is born out of Maya. Avyaktat Paraha Purushaha, and superior to this Avyaktam is Brahman, because Maya is just an appendage supported by Brahman. Then Purushat na param kinchit, and beyond Sakshi, the original consciousness, there is nothing. Sa kashta, that is the pinnacle. Sa paragatihi, that should be the ultimate goal, which we call Vishnu Padam. So, as we move upwards, we should gradually start disidentifying from the grosser lower component. That means in Panchakosha Viveka, what we are doing is we are giving up abhimana of each grosser layer as we move higher and higher. And then we know that the ultimate is Vishnu Padam or Purusha. So the sequence of events is that Karanam is always subtler than Karyam. So we are moving from more subtle, that means Sukshma, to something closer, Pratyak Atma, and more superior, Paraha. Subtlest, closest, and most superior being Atma, Brahman.
Thank you very much for this Panchakosha Viveka. See, the whole spiritual journey is within myself, going from my sense organs to my mind, to my intellect, and then a sudden jump from the individual to the total. And this whole inner journey is, there are three levels. It is becoming more and more subtle, sukshmat. It is becoming more and more pervasive. It is becoming more and more bigger, and it is coming closer and closer. So that is how this whole journey goes. This is another 5-star mantra. Please chant Esha Sarveshu Bhuteshu, please.
Esha Sarveshu Bhuteshu Gudhotma na prakashate drishyate tva agraya buddhyaya sukshmaya sukshmadarshibihi.
Explain.
So, this Atma is present in all of us. It is Gudhatma, meaning it seems to be hidden. Why is it hidden, although it is present in everybody. And why is it that some of us are aware of Samanya Chaitanya and most of us are lost in Vishesha Chaitanya? Okay, this is because we do not have a subtle mind. We need a very sukshma buddhi. We need to be sadhana chatushtaya sampanna and agra buddhi. We need to have a very sharp intellect. So, as vritti bhava abhava chaitanya, in which avastha is this, whether we have thoughts or no thoughts in our mind, we should know that Samanya Chaitanyam is always there. Now, if we can anchor on to that Samanya Chaitanyam, which is the good Atma within our minds, what does it matter if there are thoughts? What does it matter if there are activities, joys, sorrows, ups, downs? It doesn't matter. So we need a sharp intellect, agraya buddhi, and we need sukshma manaha. And with that, we become sukshma darshis, means we have the divya chakshuhu to be anchored in the samanya chaitanyam. These are the qualifications needed for panchakosha viveka, means vritti bhava abhava. Whether we have thoughts or no thoughts, Shakshi Chaitanyam is always there. This is the Samanya Chaitanyam that we should be anchored into. That's all.
Thank you. Yesha sarveshu bhuteshu. Good news. Bhuteshu, all of us, in all of us, Yesha, that vipaschit, that consciousness, na jayate mriyate va vipaschit, is there within all of us. We have to put a tester and see it is glowing. Why? You are hearing. You are there. So yesha sarveshu bhuteshu. Now, good Atma, how many people know? But all of us now have the tester. The tester is our Samanya Jnanam. Whenever you are into Samanya Jnanam, you're immediately able to recognize that vipaschit. Then your mind has become agraya. It has become so evolved. It becomes sukshmata. You have been able to discover it. Therefore, Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Now, again, among those mantras where you put 5-star plus, this is a great mantra. And perhaps one of the most difficult mantras to understand. Dr. Anupama, please chant and explain.
Okay, this mantra teaches us how we should resolve our grosser selves into the subtlest form that we have. So, yached means resolve. Yached vang atmanihi prajnaha. So, vang, yached vang manasi prajnaha. Vang represents all ajnanendriyas and karmendriyas. Yet ched, resolve them into the higher one, that is the mind. Resolve the jnanendriyas and karmendriyas into the mind. That means stop talking, stop doing everything, and just stay quiet with your mind. Then tad yet ched jnana atmani. Then resolve your mind into your intellect. The buddhi, which we have learnt now, is superior to the mind. Jnana atmani mahati niyachet. Then from this intellect of ours, rarefy our intellect to merge with the cosmic intellect Hiranyagarbha. Mahati means Hiranyagarbha. Then tad yachet chanta atmani. Once the mind is so rarefied, there is nothing objective remaining. Just become the observer, the sakshi, the chanta atmani. Become the shanta atmani. So from thought centered on objective world to thought centered on ourselves. So this is the meditation that Yamadharmaraja has suggested to prepare our minds, not to know Atma, but to shift our focus from gross to subtle. This has been done, I think, yeah.
Yeah. Yet Chedvang Panasi. Now, there is one process in Vedanta. And what is that process in Vedanta? Now, if I want to drink water and I ask you for water, you will not give me water directly. You will give me water in a cup. and I drink the water with a cup. And if it's a disposable cup, I dispose the cup afterwards. To give spiritual knowledge, because Brahman being so subtle, the teachers have to give it in a cup. That cup is called Adhyarupa. And once the message has reached, then all of us have got that Vipaschit, the tester is there, that Samanya Jnanam is now there. Now we have to do Apavada. And Apavada is done only through meditation. It can be done by two ways. It can be done through Jnana Vena. Look at what I've highlighted in red. Through knowledge, as Dr. Anupama said, stop doing all activities. Stop talking. When you stop talking, all your activities have gone into the mind. Now stop thinking. If you can, at least for some time in meditation, then go into the intellect. Now slowly resolve from the individual being to the total being. Now, that is through the process of understanding I am not the Jivatma, I am the Paramatma. So this is a resolution through knowledge or resolution through meditation. Those who do meditation regularly are able to go from the individual into silence, into that nobodiness. This is called pravilapanam, the process of resolution. Gradually withdraw. And if I have to say, when you withdraw, it is a process of purification, because anything gross cannot resolve into the total. And that is why I shall try to keep my body pure, knowing that thy living touches on all my limbs. I shall try to keep all untruths from my thoughts, knowing that thou art the truth which has kindled the reason, light of reason in my mind. I shall drive all evil from my heart and keep my love in flower, knowing that thou hast thy seat in the inmost shrine of my heart. And it shall be my endeavor to reveal thee through my actions, knowing it is thy power that gives me strength to act, life of my life. That is why these are all called resonance mantras, and we will conclude by a whip. Now, in this chariot example, there is a whip. Very rarely the mantra, the Upanishad carries a whip. This is that whip mantra. That is why Swami Vivekananda used this as a clarion call for the country. Awake, arise, and stop not until your goal. Our goal is Paramapurushartha, the inner journey from the lower bird to the higher bird, from Jivatma to the Paramatma. Dr. Anupama, please explain, and we conclude with this mantra.
This is what we call a corridor mantra, a shift from Karma Yoga to Jnana Yoga. Very comprehensive, mentioning all the sadhanas. And this is very same as the mantra in Mundaka, Parikshalokan Karmachitan Brahmana, Nirvedam Ayat. So, Uttishta. Uttishta means wake up. Wake up to what? Next slide, please. Yeah. Wake up. Wake up to what? Wake up to our basic problem. What is our basic problem? We don't know who we are. We don't know that we are Parabrahma. So, in Kathopanishad, this is called Uttishta. In Mundaka, it is called Parikshalokan Karmachitan Brahmana. And how do you wake up? We wake up by doing Karma Yoga through Ishvara Arpana and Prasada Bhava. We have seen, if we have time, this very beautiful mantra in Bhagavad Gita, which says Vibhuhu, that means Brahma, na datte, is not acknowledging kasya chit papam, anybody's papa, na chaiva sukruta. Brahman is not acknowledging anybody's good deeds or bad deeds. Why? Because why then do we spend all our lives trying to show everybody how virtuous we are and how many rituals we have performed or how we access heaven? Because Ajnanena avritam jnanam, all of us, our intellect has been kind of wrapped up by ajnana, and because of this ajnana means lack of self-knowledge, we are deluded, muhyanti, and virtually living like animals, jantavaha. So This getting self-knowledge is so very, very important. That's why he says uttishta. Then jagrataha. We have to then wake up to our true nature. How? Through jnana yoga. Then how do I know my true nature? By going to a guru. Prapya varan nibodaha. Tad vijnartha sa gurumeva abhigachet. Next slide, please. And how do you approach the guru? With samitpani, dropping all your ignorance and with the total surrender. Now, is this path easy? Definitely not. Yamadharmaraja says, Kshurasya dhara nishita duratyaya durgam patam. This is as difficult as walking on the edge of a razor. So, how do we make this difficult path easy? By preparing ourselves. Adequate preparation could make the most difficult exercise easy. That's the message here.
Thank you very much, Dr. Anupama. Look at this mantra, Uttishtata Jagrata. See, normally we wake up, Jagrata first and then sit up. But supposing you wake up a person suddenly, then he jumps up from the sleep, Uttishtata. He gets up. So the first thing is you sit up because you have woken up suddenly. And then you wake up and say, where am I? So this is Adi Shankara in his Bhashyam gives a secondary whipping. He says, we have been sleeping for lives together. And that is why we need a very powerful whip. And here the mantra is whipping up in such a way, we just jump up. And then once you wake up, we have to now wake up to our higher nature. And that is possible through Prapya Varan Nibodhata. That is through a teacher. In the spiritual path, there is one thing very important that we don't, we understand that ahankara, mamakara, raga, dvesha, the lower bird is the cause of all my problems. So I have to use certain sadhanas like karma yoga, and to discover it is ignorance that is the cause of all my suffering. Ajnanena jnanam avritam tena muhyanti jantava. I am the problem, I am the solution. A student of Vedanta never blames anybody else for his own problems. So we have to wake up through our problems, through our sadhanas, approach a guru, and through a guru, jnanena pravilapanam or dhyanena pravilapanam. So now I understand that the higher self is within me, the lower self is in me. The journey is only an inner journey. And this is possible through Guru and Shastras. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha.
Today's session was beyond brilliant, beyond words. It is touched us at the most sensitive point. Our profound thanks to Dr. Hegde and Dr. Anupama. I have always believed that what we feel is a downfall, we find is God's given gift of answer to our former prayers. I'm sure all our Param Vedanta family will join me in assuring that we will certainly make our best efforts to internalize these resonance mantras. Dear seekers, let us gather again in Satsanga on Friday, 17th of October at 6:45 p.m. for the 11th session of Panchadashi. Tattva Viveka, to continue the inquiry into the self. The jiva mistakenly identifies with the body, but in truth, the self is unaffected witness consciousness, Sakshi. Swami Vidyaranya, from the 33rd verse, shows the method of teaching through Panchakosha Viveka. Chaitanya, part of Atma, is separated from Shariras. In the verses 41 to 44, he delves deeper into the analysis of Panchakosha and their relationship to the Atman. He guides the seekers through different prakriyas to peel away the layers of identity and arrive at the pure, non dual self. We look forward to your joining us in this spiritual journey. Friends, let us now chant the Shanti Mantra and conclude this session. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Krishna Pranamastu.